On today's show, why is Luka versus the Mavericks such a big deal for the Dallas Mavericks and Mavs fans? We're here live at Four Corners Brewery to tell you exactly why in today's Locked On Mavs.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Your team every day.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs your first listen, and joining us here live at Four Corners Brewery. Woo! Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to the FanDuel app. You can get $250 in bonus bets. First $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com. And joining me, as always, my co-host, media member, covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years, right alongside me, the brewery boy, the one more thing king. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Yo, shout out to Bernardo. Bernardo, you go in the bathroom right now. I'm giving you a shout out. You can't go poop right now. Now, shout out to Four Corners. This is a cool atmosphere, cool fun time. Smash Burger. If y'all need something to eat tonight, get the Smash Burger.
Oh, to die for, absolutely. And the post-game prodigy from the Great Slightly Biased YouTube channel. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
I'm feeling a lot of emotions because last time Nick and I were here, It was before Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
Back when we had hope in our eyes and love in our hearts.
It's a very different feeling now, to say the least.
Today's episode, we're going to get into why this is such a big deal for the Dallas Mavericks and Dallas Mavericks fans. We're here with a bunch of Mavericks fans today, and we've heard from a bunch of Mavericks fans, and so we want to talk about why the trade has cut so deep, why we're still talking about it, basically, why we're still crying and whining about this trade, basically, so many months later. We'll talk about that. We'll also get into who we blame the most for this trade. We'll talk about how this trade could be a win for the Mavs. Maybe we'll get into the Nuggets and what happened with them today, because some craziness. And then we'll do an extra episode where we hear from Mavericks fans. We'll do Q&A and all that kind of stuff. So stick around with us here if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you are. But let's start here, gentlemen. Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. It's since 2018, maybe even before then, if you knew who Luka was, you wanted the Mavericks to draft Luka. So many people did. We were talking about on this show all the way back then and talking about how he would be the piece that the Mavericks need, the bridge from Dirk to Luka into this next era of Mavericks basketball. And then all of a sudden in the middle of the night, he gets traded after all this that happened between Mavericks fans and Luka. They go to the finals, Western Conference Finals, Kristaps Porzingis trade, Jalen Brunson here and gone and all that, the rise and fall of so many different things. And then all of a sudden he's just gone. And now it's been a couple months now since the Luka trade, and now he's going to come play for the play against the Dallas Mavericks, which is just a thing that doesn't even compute in my brain at all. Why does this trade cut so deep? Why is this game such a big deal, Isaac?
Oh, I was going to give it slightly. I think I said this on yesterday's show, but it's like we spent 7 years falling in love with this guy. Like, so many of us in this room could sit there and probably list off where we were at when he got drafted. I go back to his rookie season, the Houston run where he's like crossing up Clint Capella. He's hitting the threes. Even like the bubble and hitting the game winner and, going to the finals. We just have so many Luka moments. And in a way, the franchise was like helping us fall in love with this guy too. And then
wanted us to. They were please love this guy. Please move on from Dirk and move to this guy.
Yeah, and if there's ever a fan base that understands loyalty, it's Mavs fans. Like, it's on the statue. Come on. And so you spend all this time, helping us fall in love with Luka, and then just to rip that out of our heart in one night. It's just, I don't know. It's still does it feel real still? Like, have y'all accepted it by now? Are y'all better at this than I am? Because I still no. I know I see him in.
There's a bunch of Luka jerseys here today that would say otherwise.
I see him in a Lakers jersey. I'm like, this isn't real. Like, when am I gonna wake up?
I mean, it's like having Luka is what sports were about. You kind of tie yourself to a team, and then just the nature of sports and how it works. They draft somebody, and that person's just kind of in your sporting life, but in your real life for, 10, 20 years, like Dirk was. Dirk, I started watching basketball, started understanding life and had memories in like 2003, 2004. And one of my very first memories of my entire existence as a human being was being...
Wait, you were born in 2003?
No, I was not born in 2000. Thank you, though. But no, I was not. But no,
Skin just looks amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
What's your skincare routine?
I dip my face in ice water.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What kind of water, though?
The glass bottle water. Saratoga.
He's not a brand guy. He's just...
No, I just use tap water and just pray there's not lead in it, but you never know. But anyways, one of my first memories was being like 3 rows back at a Timberwolves Mavs game. And from that point forward, it was just, I love basketball. I love Dirk. And then Dirk was in my life until, 2018, 2019. Like, that's such a long period of time. And that was supposed to be Luka. So having that ripped away is just like, I don't know. It's an unprecedented type of event in sports. Like, it's why it gets talked about so much, not just by Mavs fans, because obviously we're going to talk about it, but like everyone talks about it. You know, like Zach Lowe started his new podcast with The Ringer, and he's just like...
Whoa, free advertising?
Yeah, free advertising. Zach Lowe's welcome to come on the show. But anyways, he was like, I just still can't believe this trade happened, and like he didn't want to talk about it, but he's just a national media guy.
Cool.
It's just like...
Well, I'm glad
I don't want to talk about it either.
Glad I have that downloaded.
Here we are still.
Yeah, but no, anyways, that's why it's so important, because this is just what sports are all about. And that got ripped away, and it's just such a... It just sucks. Because sports are a big portion of our lives.
It does. And there's something about sports where it's not just like a television show like White Lotus. If we watch the finale of White Lotus, you like get attached to some of these characters and the actors and things like that. And then at the end, when that person you get attached to these people.
We don't ruin television shows on here.
We don't. None of us do. In any way.
Guys, were any of y'all mad about the Severance thing?
Wait.
Get off.
Isaac spoiled Severance for a whole bunch of people that subscribe to our text line.
Wait, you were mad?
Dude, that's kind of a crazy spoiler.
Right.
Severance is a crazy
I hope you
show to
choke
spoil.
on your burger.
But if you watch a TV show, you don't get to see those people in person.
Legally,
It's not a play. It's not a musical. It's not like you get to go see them, interact with them in person, maybe meet them at some point. Maybe you do, but few and far between.
Maybe get blocked by them on Twitter.
Maybe. But with an athlete, you have that interaction. You get to go see them upwards of 40 times a year in person, cheering for them, being for them, like hoping that they get awards and hoping that they get a better contract and hoping that they get minutes and starting and, all these different things that you follow them with. And it's such a special relationship between a fan and a player. Now it's even evolved to the point where we have stands. Do we have actor stands? Like, I don't think it's gone that far.
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Yes, for sure.
The Muse accounts?
Dude,
do you think there's a Leonardo DiCaprio Muse account?
There's slightly biased.
Is there a Walton Goggins Muse account?
Oh, for sure.
I think
There's a
I'd be
Walton
part of that
Goggins
one.
Muse account.
But it's a different kind of relationship between a fan and a player, and I think that's why it means so much to Mavericks fans. That's why we're still talking about it all these months later. And so then for him to return, it's almost like, if an actor went and was on a different show while that other show was still going on, and then they had a crossover event. It's like it just doesn't happen, but it's going to happen for the Mavs and for Luka and for Mavericks fans.
Can I just say, I hate when people are like, you guys talk about the trade too much. And look, I hate talking about the trade. I really do. I've gotten to the point where I do not like talking about it.
Slightly literally sent us a text earlier today. He's like, hey boys, you ready to talk about the trade again? It's like, yeah.
I'm just so annoyed. But it's all, like, when people are like, dude, can you guys stop talking about the trade? It's like, imagine just roaming around Japan in 1940 and pretending a nuclear explosion didn't go.
That's the analogy of the year right there.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest. That's what it would be like. Like, okay, let's just pretend this didn't happen, and let's talk about Spencer Dinwiddie.
is so impressed right
Let's talk about Spencer Dinwiddie for the next 15 minutes. Man, they need a ball handler.
I think I forgot about live audience slightly. Put this man in front of a live mic. He's comparing the Luka trade to Hiroshima.
I mean, sports-wise, I don't know if there's a comparison.
Well, not to that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the sports equivalent. We've never seen anything else like it.
Right. Why is this game specifically? Why is the game itself such a big deal now?
I mean, it's natural that, it's his first game back. So it's the first time we get to see him. Now, they have the opportunity to do something that's really funny. They're playing OKC right now as we're watching. What if they just set Luka tomorrow night?
Because it's a back-to-back. The Mavericks game is the second night of a back-to-back.
There's no way they can do that, right?
No, that's where you miss David Stern, because he would...
Oh, Stern would step in.
Yeah, Stern would maybe
He'll play this game on one leg, Luka.
That's when Luka steps in. What would be the funniest entrance for Luka tomorrow? He's holding the beer, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Walking in.
Just walk past Michael Finley and just...
He has a Jason Kidd retro Mavs jersey on, holding a beer with like some like Mamba mentality bracelet.
No, he needs to get out the car. Somebody opens the door for him, and hookah smoke just blows out.
Yeah.
And he walks out.
Yes.
It just is. It's just going to be weird, and it's going to be a really interesting thing to see how Mavericks fans respond. And so let's talk about that. Let's get into how Mavericks fans are going to respond and get into all that coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by BetterHelp. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. I should know I've had to deal with my mental health the last couple of months. It's been absolutely insane going through the highs and lows of being a Mavs fan and knowing everything that just happened. But it doesn't have to be just in the tough times either. Therapy can help you with everyday stress, learning how to set boundaries, developing positive coping skills, having access to support when you need it can make a giant difference in your life. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to and work things out with. That's where BetterHelp comes in. With online therapy, you get quality care at a price that makes sense, saving you time and money. Your well-being is absolutely worth it. Take the time, find somebody that works with your schedule. I've used BetterHelp before, and I absolutely loved the way that it was flexible with my schedule. I got to meet with somebody. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today. Get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA to get BetterHelp and access to help that you absolutely need as a Mavs fan.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
The game itself, what are you expecting to happen?
I think it's going to be really weird. It wouldn't really I think what most people think is going to happen is Luka's going to go crazy, 40, 50 points, definitely on the table. I think it's more likely he's so amped. This might be the most amped up he's been for a game. I think that's possible. Like, I know that sounds crazy because he's been in the finals, conference finals, but this is just so emotionally charged in a way that we haven't seen really. I could see, one, I could see him kind of forcing it a little bit, but also two, like you said, the Lakers are playing tonight. There's a possibility this game's weird for the Lakers. Like, they sit LeBron or they sit Dodo, they sit all the guys who are questionable tonight. And
as long as they play Bronny, I'm okay.
Yeah, true. Bronny's sitting tonight, so he's well rested for tomorrow, is what I've noticed. But no, it's going to be very interesting. I have no clue what the Mavericks are going to look like, because for them, it's different. For AD, it's different. For Luka, it's him coming back to Dallas.
Where do you stand on our conversation yesterday? Who's going to be more motivated in this specific game, Luka or AD?
I mean, it's got to be Luka, 100%.
But think about Anthony Davis playing against that Rockets team, how amped up he came out, and how it's going to be a home game for the Lakers.
Yeah, I agree.
Tomorrow, right?
I agree, 100%.
You're going to, at the very least, 50-50, I think.
Oh, it's going to be like 7.
Won't Anthony Davis be motivated to come out and show Mavericks fans something in all that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I definitely think that this will probably be, outside the Rockets game, the most motivated we've seen AD. Definitely. But I still think for Luka, it means more. Just naturally.
How many of y'all in here have the Mavs tomorrow against the Lakers?
Yeah, who's betting on the Mavs? Putting money down.
There you go. No, we got somebody up at the bar.
0.
Are you serious?
There's one.
Okay.
2 out of 100.
How many people have the Lakers tomorrow? Okay. And then some of y'all just ain't picking.
Some of them are just disgusted that they had to pick the Lakers just now. And that's where you end up, right? Where you're just, because it's the Lakers, it makes it even worse.
I just hate the Lakers. I just can't do it. Like, so much respect. I love Luka. I've never been more I don't know. What's the word I'm going for? Help me. Where
disgusted?
I'm torn in between. Conflicted? Here you go. Not like I can hear y'all anyway. But I've never been more conflicted of I want Luka to do well, but I hate the Lakers. I grew up hating the Lakers. Still hate the Lakers so much. Not a LeBron fan. Shocker. Did you know that? I wasn't.
That you're not?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I just wanted to tell you right now. Slightly wallpaper on his phone is LeBron.
LeBron. Just locked in. Just as locked in as he could be.
Put Bronny on there.
No, it's been like that for 8 years, and I've never looked back.
You get a South Bay Lakers background.
South Bay Lakers.
I don't forget what we were talking about. Oh, no. I just can't root for the Lakers. Is there any new Lakers fans now that you're like, hey, I followed Luka to the Lakers?
Who's turned?
I'm not.
Has anybody turned?
How many of you say you're Mavs and Lakers fans?
Wow, surprisingly next to nobody.
I've never been more proud.
Yeah.
Wow. Just
okay. Different question. Will you root for the Lakers in the playoffs once the Mavs are out?
A couple. Okay.
Yeah, that's more 60-40.
Couple no's, couple yeses.
Okay. All right.
So somebody just said exactly where I've been at with the Lakers, where I don't mind the Lakers really. I love LeBron James. I think he's the greatest of all time.
Oh,
I love Luka. And before the trade, honestly, I didn't really care about the Lakers that much. Like if they win, whatever.
Shame.
But that's all right. That's all right. That's cool. You didn't
Shame.
watch Michael Jordan. How could you pick him to be a GOAT? You did. That's for the Wizards.
You watched LeBron lose that many finals?
Yeah, but I also saw him go 10 straight times.
Did you watch JJ Barea pack his lunch?
I did. That was awesome. That was my favorite sports moment ever. But anyways,
coming up next on First Take.
Yeah, that's his first take segment. But no, I have found myself rooting so hard against the Lakers, which makes me feel really weird because I don't want to root against Luka, but it's like I just don't feel like they deserve it.
What?
The Lakers don't deserve what's happened to them. They just don't. They're the luckiest franchise that's ever existed.
Like, why are you surprised by that?
I thought he was meaning they don't deserve the boos or the hate.
No. I'm just saying they as a franchise, what did they do to deserve Luka? Take advantage of one GM.
Proximity.
LeBron wanted to go there.
Geography.
Why? Were they good when LeBron went there? No. They were in Los Angeles. And
Dr. Jerry Buss put in the time and the work and the cocaine to make this work for them.
They did Minecraft Creative Server and terraformed the beach right next to the stadium, and that's what happened.
All right,
that went way over my head. I'm not going to lie.
I want to talk about the trade for a second, but
you do.
Let's bring up Nico Harrison.
Here he is. Come on, Nico Harrison. Come on. Come on down.
So
imagine that would be hilarious.
Oh my God.
So there's some different people with the Mavs that listen to the show, and
oh God.
So let's just hold the mics out and. What, is there any type of reaction that you want to, if Nico did listen to this episode, that you would want to,
if Nico listened to this episode, how would you respond? 1, 2, 3. Fire Nico! That was almost in unison.
That was good.
And not planned at all.
I was worried that we don't have a dump button.
I was worried it was going to be an SNL moment like what Odom had this weekend. Now that we're removed from this trade, who do you blame the most for this trade? Do you find yourself? I find myself thinking more into the conspiracies. I find myself thinking
yes.
Did the NBA make them do this? Because Nico has just drifted back. He's like Homer Simpson into the bushes. He's just kind of slinked back into it, and the Lakers are all over the place, and they put them all over. They plastered their faces all over. It's good. It's been good for the league apparently, all over the place. I'm starting to believe the conspiracies. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the one conspiracy I would believe if I were to believe a conspiracy, was that the league sort of manipulated the situation.
I wish. I wish. I'm all about believing NBA conspiracies, but it's just I don't know, if it was a different franchise, maybe, but we've talked to enough people to where it's the same story every single time. And that people that would know the honest truth. And it's not even
would they?
There's nothing, yeah. And there's nothing that you would
NDA.
There's nothing hold it back, but it's just you hear the exact same story every time that this was Nico's thing.
Like it was rehearsed?
He wanted to do it.
I don't believe any conspiracies, but that's the one. If I had to believe, I would believe.
What do y'all, this is a question for you guys. Let's just focus on the return back. What was the worst part of the return back for Luka? Was it the fact that the cornerstone piece coming back is an older injured player, older than Luka? Was it the fact that Austin Reeves was not in the deal? Or was it the fact that there was only one draft pick? Which part was the worst part of the return?
You got to do the 1, 2, 3. You got to be like Champ and Mavs, man.
I'm not. You're not going to get a picture of me with my arm extended
just put it out,
No.
All right, if it was Anthony Davis.
No one's upset about that.
We like AD.
Yeah. You upset about not getting draft picks?
Yeah. Pretty loud.
You're upset about not getting Austin Reeves or another player?
Yeah. That's the one.
That's the one where you land?
For sure, yeah. I don't care about draft pick. The idea, if you're trading Luka to a team, you would think they're going to be good for the foreseeable future. So
10 years.
Yeah. So So why would anyone give up on that? So why would you want the draft picks? Bobby Marks did that article yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it.
I did. Yeah.
Where he did all of the other trade packages that every other team could have offered. The Lakers one, if you really got everything they had, is pretty good. If you were going to trade Luka, right? Obviously, I have to say that, but AD, Reeves, and then all of their picks is better than that, and it was one of the better packages available.
Throw Christie in there too. Just 'cause.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
He's more valuable then than he is now, probably. But
Yeah, I would agree.
Jaylen Brown and a couple firsts.
you like that one. You brought the one up after the trade happened, even.
I just like Jaylen Brown a lot, so I wish the Mavs.
Because you're not a parlay guy. He came out against the
you'd
parlay.
rather have Jaylen Brown in 2 picks than AD and Reeves in 2 picks?
And they're Celtics picks.
No.
What's the age difference between Brown and AD?
Yeah, but AD's like 20 times.
It's not that much. Brown is like
5
28.
tiers.
Somebody
ahead
look
of
this
Jaylen
up on Basketball Reference. What's the age difference between
Brown. I would say
Jaylen
about 4
Brown and
years
AD?
would be my guess. Because what,
4
AD's
years?
32?
I tasked that with the audience.
You're not typing
You're not even
anything.
typing. What is it? Who has the answer?
So 4 years.
He's 28.
All right.
AD's 31.
Well, you want to know what I was thinking about a couple days ago? I was
do.
wondering, because I was thinking about Steph, LeBron, KD, all these guys who are in their mid to late 30s still playing at a really high level. And I honestly wonder if front offices look at that and think either, oh, that's just kind of like we're in kind of a unicorn group of players that are just legendary in their own rights.
Yeah.
Or if they look at that and like, hey, with modern advancements to sports science and stuff, yeah, guys play until they're 37, 38 years old now at a high level. And if that changes how you view age now.
I mean, you have Chris Paul, too, is another one.
Right, Chris Paul, yeah,
Like,
of course.
How many more examples do you need? You know, like Tom Brady.
Well, no, but I'm saying in today's NBA specifically, like it feels like there's, disproportionately speaking to the rest of the history of the NBA, like a lot of old guys.
Yeah, and will it just keep happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Paul's about to play in his like 80th game this
He
season.
might be on the Mavs next year.
Should he be?
Oh.
Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of a high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, this is the last thing we wanted to do on this show. How could the trade become a win for the Mavs? Is there any in your mind, everyone here? If the Mavs win a title, would you admit that the trade is a win? Ready? 1, 2, 3. No. Like absolutely no. Was there any yeses? Raise your hand. Couple over there. Couple over here. They win a title. That's the second one in franchise history.
All right. Let me say it again. If they win a title, will you be like super happy for it? Yeah.
Okay, most yeses.
There are some fans that are like, no, without Luka, I will not come to the parade. I'm
It
like,
kind of felt
you are
like
lying.
It kind of felt like, would you like fries with this? Oh yeah, sure, I'll take fries with it. You know,
It's more than fries.
I'll take a title.
Y'all's fries are great.
I think there's some fans that wouldn't go to the parade. I believe some people who say that.
After I went to the Texas Rangers parade, I don't know that I would go to a Mavs parade if it's going to be planned the same way.
Well, it wouldn't be in Arlington, let me tell you that much. Thank God. But
That was a mess.
Whoa, stray in Arlington.
I don't care. I hate
That was a
Arlington. Any
mess.
Arlington natives in here, I'm sorry, but I just got to come
Who's
clean.
from Arlington?
No one. Yeah. Or they're scared.
They're still stuck in trap. They're still stuck on 35 trying to get here.
Long-time Arlington native. Let me not raise my hand. But no, I was about to say something.
If the trade could be a win.
The trade can be a win. So I'm of the belief if you win a ring, winning is so hard. And I think people take that for granted how hard it is. Because honestly, Mavs have been quite lucky. You okay? All right, there you go. Mavs have been quite lucky to be as competitive as they have been for so long. But the real answer to this question is something you don't even want to say out loud.
Oh.
I mean, it's just you don't even want to put it into the air.
And you made a Hiroshima joke earlier today.
That's true, and this one's pushing it. But we said right after the trade happened, the only way you can look back in history and say, oh, the Mavs maybe knew what they were doing is if, and I'm knocking on wood, like no one's saying this, but if Luka has an injury-riddled remainder of his career.
Yeah. If he's Joel Embiid, if he's Andrew Luck.
That's literally what they
Those are
bet
two
on
ways.
happening. That's what the Mavs front office bet on happening.
And you would think you think it was a win if he.
Well, win's a strong word, but I'm saying that's how you go. I wouldn't be like, yeah, Luka. Like you'd go back and it's just okay. Like that was their concerns, and the concerns panned out.
That's one of the. I mean, there's so many sucky things about this, but is the fact that it feels like the only way the Mavs can win this is if Luka completely breaks down.
That literally is the only way.
And it's so sad. It's like. All right, what's the only way I can feel good about this trade?
Great.
And it's like there's really no way.
No, exactly. You don't feel good in that situation. I'm just saying that's how.
I think a title, or 2 titles in the next 10 years would be
not one.
The thing about just
not 2.
So the thing when your question is a win, right? Like looking back on the trade, how you could be like, wow, the Mavericks actually somehow came out on top. I don't even think winning gets you there because I think everyone would ask the same question. Well, couldn't you have won with Luka? And then if you could have won with Luka, then how many could you have won? That would become what the question is.
The age difference and all that.
Yeah, so that's why I answer with the answer I had, even though it does suck to think about.
Let's talk about the Nuggets thing real quick. The Nuggets fired their head coach, Michael Malone.
Jeez.
With 3 games left in the season.
This is unreal.
Calvin Booth, their GM, which that one I saw coming.
Yeah, that one was obvious.
He's done the Christian Brown move, and then everything else has kind of been really bad since then. And he wasn't the one that was in charge when they won the title and built that team.
He signed DeAndre Jordan.
Veteran.
He gets rotation minutes for
He had a crazy dunk this year. Yeah, okay.
Vegan.
We see this with the Nuggets, and we also see the Grizzlies fire their coach late. That's a reaction to what?
I feel like at this point, NBA franchises are looking around saying, well, somebody else already beat us to the punch for the craziest deal this year. Move. We can kind of fire. What? Memphis just happened not too long ago, and Denver said, hold my beer. But I don't know. My eyes just lit up and said, oh, there's another GM job open up. Wonder if somebody...
Denver is closer to Oregon, where Nike's headquarters
Calvin
is.
Booth does, have a great moment in Mavs franchise history. Do y'all remember that? Calvin Booth moment in franchise history? Cool. Yep. All right.
Well, there you go. We got one.
Yes.
Are you going to tell us what it is?
Let's go. No, it's
just going to keep it to himself.
Okay, that's fine. You want to know what I think it is in response to?
I do.
The Oklahoma City Thunder.
That they're just that good?
And the Boston Celtics.
Or that you think that they can be beat?
No, that I think teams look at what their situation and say, we're not going to beat those teams. Let's just get ahead of the punch here and fire these guys that we're going to fire anyways. The locker room's lost.
The locker room being lost for the Nuggets is the thing I keep hearing. I was listening to Locked On Nuggets today, and they were talking about how Michael Malone and the players would say, the coaches are doing their job, teaching us the defense and teaching us what we need to do on defense. We're just not doing it. And at that point, the coaches lost the locker room. If they know what they're supposed to be doing and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, it felt like the Rick Carlisle thing. We're like, all right, this is a good coach. We admit this is a good coach. He won a title for us, and yet now our franchise and our players are just not listening to him anymore.
I heard he just didn't like horse racing. And that's why he's out. He'll get hired.
Is that legal in Denver? Maybe there's this
horse racing or betting on horse racing?
Maybe there's a scandal there. Betting on horse racing.
Nothing's stopping you from just taking 2 horses out on the street.
That's true.
Going for it.
But I think, even if he did lose the locker room, firing a guy this close to the end of the season is unprecedented. I think they said it was the second latest coaching firing mid-season for any team in the history of the league. So I wonder if Taylor Jenkins doesn't get fired, do they do it? I wonder.
Because now it's there's a precedent.
Right.
And they cleaned out. They fully cleaned out. So it's not like Calvin Booth made this choice. It was ownership, the KSI group that owns the Nuggets, that came in and was like, all right, we're cleaning house with these guys.
Ownership group. Well, okay. Hey, one more thing.
That's the drop I have for you.
All right, so Nick and I had a little mini argument the other day about Cuban's role in this. And
we just got some hums in the audience. We're waiting for this.
Yeah. How are y'all feeling about Mark Cuban right now? If we do a little Commodus from a Gladiator, give me a thumbs up for Mark Cuban. Give me a thumbs down for Mark Cuban.
Oh, we got all downs. All downs. There's one up.
There's a few 50-50s.
He was the owner when the team won the title.
All right, now take politics out of it. No.
Take politics out of it.
You're asking just general opinion.
Well, we just had a back and forth the other day of how the list of people to blame, where Mark Cuban is on that. I feel like there's a lot of strong opinions about Cuban right now, holding him to the same disgust as the DeMonts or Nico. And I just feel like I don't think he's on the same level as far as I don't know. That's just where I'm at.
I don't think he's on the same level. I do think he owns some of the blame, though. I'll keep saying this until he comes on the show and proves me wrong in some way. He still sold the team to an owner that doesn't know basketball and hired Nico and then watched Nico gain all this power and then let them go. So
there's just so many owners who don't know a lick about basketball. So I don't care about this.
But it's the combination of getting that owner and also having one guy in charge that also hasn't done the job before.
That, yes.
Until I hear otherwise of the thing that Nick brought up once, and just Mark Cuban being that involved with the team, I have such a hard time believing that he wasn't at least somewhat privy to the idea that it could happen.
Well, the thing he was mentioning is we know that the Mavericks...
I can't remember if you brought it up on the show.
I have brought it up. The Mavericks were not going to sign Luka to the Supermax or did not intend to sign Luka.
When Cuban was selling the team, this was established.
When Cuban was still the owner, they did not intend to do that. And so... If he knew all the way back then he could have known that it was going to happen at some point, because if you're not going to give him the Supermax, then now you have a tumultuous superstar, which is kind of what Nico Harrison was trying to avoid in general. He just did a bad job avoiding it.
Because when they said that, right after the trade, they were trying to avoid a tumultuous summer. Everyone was wondering what that meant. Was Luka going to demand a trade? What he was saying was they were not going to offer him the Supermax extension.
What kind of West Plano boys are doing this contest?
What's your problem with Plano, man?
We're having a conversation right here.
Sorry. I just looked up and
I was still on a podcast.
I was like, is that Tim Hardaway? Bricking these shots. Sorry.
OKC, no, I know some people from Plano who are OKC fans.
Let's go.
Go back to the...
Oh, no, I was done.
Okay.
Let's go off.
There's a lot of blame. But thanks for hanging out with us on the show. If you're listening, we'll be done with this. All right.
God, what a...
Good outro.
I'll do the outro. I'll do the outro later. Nobody wants to hear that right now.
I remember my first.
Take a picture of the QR code.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, we're offline now. Now we can get real.
Yeah, we got as real as it.
Yeah, now we can all admit we're happy the trade happened.
Whoa. No one's recording, right?
I always thought Luka was fat.